Trump's relationship with the truth is going to be of profound importance going forward, because any policy discussion has to begin with a shared sense of reality. To give you a sense of just how much he watches cable news, a few hours later he was on Air Force One and you could actually hear the commercials from Fox News blaring in the background. Even his own advisors like Peter Thiel argued that people shouldn't worry about his statements because he didn't really mean them.
I think a lot of the voters who vote for Trump take Trump seriously, but not literally.
Ever felt like you're living in a real-life political comedy show? Well, you're not alone. John Oliver's latest Trump roast has us all feeling like we're part of some bizarre reality TV experiment. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video, but here's the thing, behind the laughs and Twitter wars, there's some serious stuff going down.
He lied about being invited on this show and about the ratings for The Celebrity Apprentice. He pretended to be his own publicist. Even his building, Trump Tower, is not as big as he says it is. How did we get a pathological liar in the White House? Where are his lies coming from? Why do so many people believe him? And what can we possibly do about it? Just 2 weeks ago, he tweeted, "Ungrateful traitor Chelsea Manning, who should never have been released from prison, is now calling President Obama a weak leader. Terrible." Which is interesting. If someone changed the channel to the Sprout Network, he'd tweet, "Caillou's life is boring even for a cancer kid. Sad."
Stick with us as we unpack what this means for you, me, and the future of our country. Because let's face it, we're all in this show together. Remember when comedy was just about knock-knock jokes and banana peels? Well, those days are long gone, folks. John Oliver just showed up at Trump's door with a comedy sledgehammer, and boy, did he make an entrance. Oliver's show isn't just funny anymore. It's turning into a political powerhouse. But why? Maybe it's because he's not just cracking jokes about Trump's hair or his tiny hands.
We are talking about the president, like a Tinder match we've been on 4 dates with. I asked him if we could hang out this Friday, and he said, "Probably, ... I'm starving."
It was almost raining. The rain should have scared him away, but God looked down and he said, "We're not going to let it rain on your speech."
No, he didn't.
And so when they hear things like the Muslim comment or the wall comment or things like that, it's not, the question is not, are you going to build a wall like the Great Wall of China?
And you would hope that as president, he'd now be getting information from primary sources and briefings, but Trump still watches a phenomenal amount of cable news.
Nope, our British buddy is diving headfirst into some serious stuff. Like that time he explained net neutrality better than the tech nerds themselves. Who knew the internet could be so interesting? But here's the kicker, Trump's not laughing. In fact, he's tweeting up a storm like a teenager who just got dumped at prom. But is that playing right into Oliver's hands? It's like watching a chess match where one player keeps knocking over his own pieces. Now get this, more young people are getting their news from comedy shows than from those stuffy old news anchors. Is this good or bad? Well, that depends on whether you prefer your news with a side of giggles or a dose of mind-numbing boredom. But here's where it gets real, folks. Oliver's not just poking fun at Trump's orange glow anymore. He's digging into Trump's plans for a second term. And let me tell you, it's about as pretty as a dumpster fire at a fireworks factory. So turns out comedy might be our best defense against political BS. Who knew laughter could be so powerful? It's like we're living in a world where the court jester is the only one telling the truth to the king. And the king, well, he's too busy tweeting about how great his castle is to notice. But here's the million-dollar question. If comedy's becoming our go-to news source, what does that mean for traditional media? Are we headed for a future where our nightly news comes with a laugh track, where the most trusted name in journalism is a comedian? Alright folks, grab your popcorn because Trump's latest Twitter tantrum is better than any reality TV show. Our orange pal's fingers are working overtime on Truth Social, and boy, is he steamed. But here's the kicker. Every tweet seems to be proving John Oliver right. It's like watching a comedy roast where the guy being roasted keeps handing the comedian more material. Trump's not just mad about the jokes. Oh no, he's threatening to sue, can you imagine?
Trump has made it clear that reality is not important to him. Think about it. He's exaggerated the size of his inauguration crowd. He said the election was marred by mass voter fraud with no real proof of that. That phrase was used on Fox News just 15 minutes before he tweeted in a segment which also called Manning an ungrateful traitor.
When you hear 4.9 and 5% unemployment, the number's probably 28, 29, as high as 35. In fact, I even heard recently 42%.
Made a lot of sense in his mind, because if you're renting a room, you'd rather be on the 14th floor than on the 6th floor.
Your Honor, I'd like to sue this British guy for being too darn funny. Good luck with that, Donnie. Legal experts are saying Trump's lawsuit threats are as empty as his promises. Ouch! Turns out the First Amendment isn't just for boring history classes anymore. It's like a superhero cape for comedians, protecting them from grumpy politicians who can't take a joke. But here's where it gets juicy. Trump's tweets aren't just entertaining, they're giving us a sneak peek into his plans. And let me tell you, it's scarier than his hair on a windy day. He's talking about reshaping the government and getting rid of the deep state. Is this guy running for president or auditioning for a Bond villain? In one post, Trump vowed to use the full force of the government to protect real Americans. What about the fake ones? Do they come with a warning label? It's like he's playing a game of who wants to be an authoritarian, and he's going for the grand prize. But here's the real question. If Trump's tweets are a window into his mind, what does that say about his fitness for office? It's like we're seeing the real Trump behind the MAGA curtain, and it's not pretty. He's not just tweeting himself into a corner, he's tweeting himself right out of the White House. So while Trump's digital meltdown is giving us all a good laugh, it's also a wake-up call. Are we watching democracy crumble 280 characters at a time? Or is this the moment when comedy becomes our last line of defense against political BS? Well, folks, it looks like we've reached the end of this wild ride. Who would have thought that a British guy with glasses could cause so much chaos?
So that is where we are currently at. We have a president capable of standing in the rain and saying it was a sunny day.
What they hear is we're going to have a saner, more sensible immigration policy.
Oh yeah, that is definitely the sense I got from watching those Trump rallies. If God did look down, his only thought would have been, wait, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir is because of this guy. Now, since taking office around 412 years ago.
Doing good, thank you. How was your first flight, sir?
That's real.
But here we are, watching Trump lose his marbles over a few jokes. It's like a comedy show where the audience is the whole country, and we're all wondering if we should laugh or cry. Here's the thing though, while we're giggling at Trump's tweets, John Oliver's out there dropping truth bombs like they're going out of style. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what we need right now. In a world where facts are rarer than a good hair day for Trump, comedians might be our last hope for some honest-to-goodness truth. So next time you're cracking up at a political joke, remember you might actually be learning something important. Funny how that works, right? Keep laughing, keep thinking, and for Pete's sake, keep fact-checking. Even the funny stuff